Hi guys, I'm Divya and welcome to the Resource House, where you get tips and strategies for your learning or your small business environment. Now, in one of our previous videos, we did some tips for teachers as to how you can better organize your learning environment or move your instruction online. And from the feedback from that video, we had a lot of questions on how do I increase learner engagement. So, tip number one, before you do anything, you prepare. So you yourself become acquainted with your new environment, and also you prep your students for their new learning environment. This means that you get them used to the platforms that you'll be using, the do's and don'ts. You can refer them to some tutorials or run those tutorials yourself. But this will significantly cut down your learning curve when you are ready to get your instruction started. Tip number 2. You want to be organized in the presentation of your information, which means that you need to be consistent with your formats, your mode of deliveries, and you need to be consistent in how you request the responses from the students back to you. Because you have to cater for several different levels of interaction online, you may find that you have engaged several different platforms to facilitate this. So you need to decide which platform you're presenting your work on and which platform you want to receive your work back on, and be consistent with that with your online learners. Tip number 3, you want to, like a hawk, look for those who are falling off on their engagement and find ways of re-engaging them. So you call on them individually, you call on them often. Tip number 4, you want to be intentional about creating an avenue for peer-to-peer interaction. Now, there are 3 types of interaction that you have to still cater for in your online environment. That is your interaction with the learner's interaction with the course content, learner's interaction with you, the facilitator, but also very important is your peer-to-peer interaction. And this is critical for groups that were already physically together before moving to an online environment, or have been together for a while, or also your younger learners. Tip number 5, you want to deliver bite-sized, well-spaced chunks of instruction, and we touched on this in our previous video as well. So it's easy to feel overwhelmed when you are learning online, so you want to reduce the stints of instructional time and give longer breaks in between that. Within this as well, you also want to present to still cater for your differentiated learners. So one way that you can do this is by pre-recording material for different groups of learners and sending that out to them, having them review it within a specific time frame, and come back and doing their assessment activity or their interactive activity. Also critical for an online learning environment, or an environment where persons are learning via distance or from home, you want to reduce your takeaway activities. This is especially critical for younger learners. Perhaps adult learners will be able to manage that a lot better. But for younger learners, you want to reduce the nighttime learning and the take-away learning. Number 6, you want to use in your online learning environment approaches that are varied. Just like you do in the traditional classroom, you want to also maintain that and improve that even for your online environment. Now, there have been over the years a lot of kickback over the validity of varying learning styles. Some persons prefer a sensory approach, but the fact is people learn differently. So try to cater for your different types of learning. Number 7, you want to have your students engage with your learning material, your instructional material right away. It's so much more difficult to leave an online environment, especially again for younger learners, and to go away and interact after. So within your instructional time, even though you've made it shorter, you still want to factor in some sort of response opportunity for your learners. Number 8, you want to be intentional about having the learners engage and provide immediate feedback. You want them to have opportunities to engage immediately. So you call on persons intentionally for them to share their opinions, for them to give their insights, or to share their work. For younger learners, you can ask them to to take photos of their work and send them to you. For older learners, they can share what they learned with the class, and you can have your online, so you can set up discussion forums so that the entire class could interact, and as well you would have your peer-to-peer interaction coming in that light. Number 9, you want to make learning fun, right? Persons at home, be creative, use their home environment to further engage the learners. And then that brings me to number 10, make learning social. You're online, and that's the bed of social media, I should say, interaction. So you want to use the tools that are available to you. Teens and young adults, they are masters at social media, so why not use that to your advantage? Have them create hashtags and posts and trending posts about their learning content. Have them discuss their learning or their topics on their Twitter feeds or their Instagram feeds. So there we have it. There are 10 tips for helping you to engage your students better during this time. Now, none of us knows how long this COVID-19 saga is going to be with us, but I have a feeling that many institutions and many educators would have to continue to provide online options or synchronous learning options even after COVID has left us. So some tips may be relevant to you now, and other things may be relevant in the future. So you know the YouTube drill. Hit like down below, share the video with friends, share the video with public. Also subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell so that you can get our future videos. But importantly, also drop a comment, tell us what you want to hear. We are a resource house. You may not need everything at this time, but take what you want, say what you need, and we'll see how we can help. All right, until next time, have yourself productive days ahead.